we have about 1 minute before we get started. I am going to go over our materials. We are going to need oil pastels. You're going to need a sheet of paper. Any color works. You can use white, blue, pink, green, as long as it is by 6 by 9. I did send a link out for my younger students to have the lava lamp already drawn out. I will encourage them to practice drawing it on the back because I am going to show the older students how to draw a lava lamp. So when we do our warm-up and when I'm drawing the lava lamp, maybe they can use that time to draw their own lava lamp as a warm-up on the back for the younger students. I hope that made sense. So it is 10:25. Let's go ahead and get started. All we're going to need is a pencil, our piece of paper, and oil pastels. And we are going to learn all about lava lamps. Now, I did some deep diving into lava lamps, and I learned a lot about the creator of lava lamps. And he has a very interesting history, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him. His name is Edward Craven Walker. So Edward Walker, he is from England, and his lava lamps are still manufactured and made in England. So lava lamps came from England from a man named Edward Walker. So we're going to go ahead and listen to my PowerPoint. I have a few videos talking about the science on how to get these cool little blobs or organic shapes in a lamp. So let me go ahead and post that, and we're going to just listen and watch our Google Slides. Unpin me. Okay. So as you can see, lava lamps come in many different colors and many different varieties. So we're going to focus on making our lava lamps complementary colors. And I'll go over what complementary colors are, and that is what we're going to do our lava lamps based off, complementary colors. Alright, so lava lamps are pretty interesting. They have this substance which is made out of wax and oil, and when the lamp heats up, it starts moving towards the top, and when it cools down, it sinks back down, and it creates different shapes, and they're all organic shapes, because you can't really name what shapes are being created by the lava lamp. So I want to talk about complementary colors. Often lava lamps are pleasing to the eye. One reason is they move, but the other is what colors they choose to make the lava lamps. So as you can see, red and green are complementary colors. If you look at the color wheel and you find the color red and you move your finger down, across is green. Another complementary color is blue and orange, and yellow and violet, or yellow and purple. I know we don't have a purple oil pastel, but we could use pink as a substitute. So, if you notice, red, blue, and yellow, they are three what? Primary colors. So one of your complementary colors is going to be a primary color, and the other one is a secondary color. It's a combination of either mixing blue and red, or blue and yellow, or blue and yellow, and blue and red. So, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Oh, also I want you to take a look at the leaves, those orange leaves. That is an excellent example. So we see orange on the color wheel and we see blue directly across from each other. That's why that photograph looks so pleasing to our eye. It's because they're complementary colors. Alright, so we're going to dive into secondary, tertiary, and all these other colors later on in the year. But I just want you to be aware of basic color theory. So, we got primary colors, the red, yellow, and blue. And that's going to be paired up with a secondary color across from the color wheel. Red to green, yellow to purple, blue to orange. So we're pairing up primary and secondary. That is how you get complementary colors. Here is another example of the color wheel. And this is why it's important to know color theory and what looks good together. Look at these beautiful photographs. If you look, they're all using colors that match on the color wheel across from each other. So they're complementary colors. That's why these photos look so vibrant. Okay. We're going to watch this video. I thought it was really fun, and we're going to learn about the science behind how lava lamps work.
This is so trippy. I could stare at this lava lamp for hours. Wake up, Camry. What exactly is a lava lamp? Is this even lava? And how does the lamp create such mesmerizing floating blobs? To shed some light on this lamp, I brought on the help of an expert. There she is now.
Whoa, Ruby laughed far out.
Thanks. Are you my expert?
Yeah, I'm Asher J, a National Geographic explorer and a creative conservationist who knows her lava lamps. They're beautiful examples of how science blends with creativity. Now let's see your lamps. Hypnotic, aren't they?
Yeah. So, first question, am I actually looking at lava?
Nope. Lava is just a marketing name corporations give it. You're looking at two substances floating in harmony.
How exactly do they float in harmony?
To build a true lava lamp, your substances need to have different densities.
So one substance will sink to the bottom.
The other, and this is my favorite, immiscibility.
What's immiscibility?
It's a fancy science term meaning unmixable. The two substances in a lava lamp are typically water-based liquid and a waxy compound. They can never dissolve into each other. You can see it at home when you combine oil and vinegar. They never truly blend into each other.
Yet they taste great on a sandwich. All right, I see how two immiscible substances form the blobs in the lamp. But how do they rise up and down?
That comes from the power of your lamp's magic light bulb.
Magic light bulb?
Okay, it's a normal light bulb, but the heat from the bulb brings the magic. The heat causes the blobs of wax to rise. As they get further away from the bulb, they cool. Then they fall back down to the bulb, and the cycle begins all over again.
Why does the heat cause them to rise?
For that, we'd have to view the blobs on a molecular level. And there's no way we could possibly...
We could use my molecular shrink ray.
Yeah, we could do that. Honey, let's shrink us kids.
These must be the molecules of the lava lamp's blobs.
As the blob heats up, the molecules spread apart, lowering its density.
And a less dense blob will float towards the top.
Exactly. Now watch. See how the blob cools off? The molecules pack closer together? It's making the blob more dense.
It's amazing to look at a lava lamp from inside its own molecules.
Yes. Can we go home now? Camry. Camry. Camry!
Now that you know how that works, catch up on all the other episodes of How Things Work by clicking right here. And also make sure you subscribe to Nat Geo Kids by clicking.
Alright, I thought that video was pretty entertaining. I like knowing the science behind how we get such a unique looking lamp. I think it's a piece of art on its own. So the first introduction to lava lamps to society was through television. Before you could just own a lava lamp at your house, the creator of the lava lamp, Mr. Walker, used them for props in movies. So if you've ever watched Doctor Who from the 70s, it's an English Doctor Who, and they use lava lamps for their machine to transport to different times. And I've never watched the show, but basically he introduced lava lamps and people were just like, what is that? They had no idea what lava lamps were. So I think that's kind of interesting. We're going to go ahead and get started on our artwork. I'm going to pin myself so you can see me. And I just think lava lamps are now such a staple in pop culture, just like we were talking about last week, that I decided to draw one. So what we're going to do today is use our complementary colors, we're going to use organic shapes, and we're going to create our very own lava lamp. So let's go ahead, get your pencil in the air, and let's wave it like we just don't care, because we are going to go ahead and start our project. Alright, here are some examples that I've done earlier. I had a student create this one. And we have our complementary colors. We got red and we got green. And we also have blue and orange are complementary. And you can kind of even create a little organic shape that looks like something. So in this one, I drew kind of like a little stick figure, kind of looks like a little guy. And then a student drew a little cat face. You can kind of see the cat face. But as you notice, you can see that there is this serpent-like shape right here in the center. You don't have to do that. You can just create organic shapes like this. But Walker, the man who invented the lava lamp, it took him 12 years to get the velocity, I can't talk today, to get the liquid and the solid to get to a certain mass where they can make a serpent-like lava lamp. So basically it took them 12 years to be able to make this shape in the lava lamp. Often we think of lava lamps like this, which is fine if you want to do that, but I think it's interesting. When I did my research, it took him almost 12 years to be able to make this serpent-like shape. So let's go ahead and get our paper. Now, if you're a younger student and you have a printout, you can still do the warm-up, or you can wait, and when I start drawing the lamp for the older kids, you can practice on your own. So if you have this, you can draw on the back when I am drawing the lamp for the older kids. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a quick warm-up. So let's write our name. Everyone should write their name on the back. And we're going to practice drawing organic shapes. I'm going to refresh your memory on organic shapes. We can name this shape. This is a square. We can name this shape. This is a triangle. And we can name this shape. It is a circle. These are not organic shapes because we have a name for them. I will make an exception for circles if you want to put a circle in your lava lamp, but just make it a little funky, okay? We're doing organic shapes, so let's practice that serpent-like shape. We're going to go ahead and find room right here, and we're going to do a sort of curved line. And we're going to move across about 2 fingers, and we're going to follow that line. And that could be a shape we add into our lava lamp. And I just want you to practice doing some drifts as well. So let's go ahead, practice what Walker called the serpent shape in his lava lamp. And then we're going to go ahead and practice some drifts. We're going to do little drifts. So let's go towards the top. And what the key is to doing a sort of melted-like drop is to do the same sort of wiggly line, but just at different lengths. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time so you guys can watch me. All we're going to do is start curving down, up, down, up. It's like a wavy line. So practice doing some of that on your page. You can make some of them larger and smaller, kind of make a variation. You can see how I've made this one larger, this one's a little smaller, larger, smaller. So I just want you to practice on your page making these drifts. So you curve down, around, and up. Down, round, and up. Different lengths. Okay. Alright. So my younger students can practice that. And I'm going to flip this over. So the younger students who have this, you can just flip up to the back. And I want you to practice drawing the shape of the lamp. So if you're a younger student with a printout, you're just going to flip yours over and you're going to practice drawing your own lamp. Okay. We're going to go ahead. I'm sorry, the lighting is kind of weird today. We're going to go ahead and flip this over. And we're going to start drawing our lamp. I need you to get a pinky. Find your pinky. Hi, pinky. And we're going to go towards the top, towards the center. Not the bottom, not the middle, but the top. And we're going to put a little mark. I'm not using my thumb, I'm using my pinky. We want the lava lamp to be large. Go big or go home. We want the lava lamp to take up most of the space. As you can see in this example, The lava lamp is really close to the top, really close to the bottom, and the sides as well. Let the lamp be large. Okay, this first line right here is going to be 3 fingers. How many? 3. I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to make this line roughly 3 fingers. Try to make it as straight as you can. After you have that line that is 3 fingers long towards the top, it's only 1 pinky away, we're going to move towards the bottom of our paper. Move towards the bottom of your paper, and you get 3 fingers. And we're going to draw the bottom of our lava lamp. So 3 fingers, here's my ring, here's my pointer, and we're going to make a little mark towards the center, This is what your page should look like. I learned a little history about how Walker got the idea to make lava lamps, which is kind of interesting. I'll talk about that in just a moment. It actually came from an egg timer, a very old vintage egg timer. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to make this line down here 4 fingers long. 4 fingers. So you can do the dots if you need to, or you can just estimate. And you're going to make a longer line. And this longer line is about 4 fingers. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. And this line is about 4 fingers long. Look at that, about 4 fingers. It's 3 fingers from the bottom and 4 fingers long. Okay. We're going to do some diagonal lines. And I want the diagonal lines to branch out away from the page. And you're going to get them as close as you can to the edge of the paper. You're going to leave about a finger length away. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I just want you to watch. So I'm going to have your pencils still. Your pencils are still. And you're just watching. Just watching. Okay, I'm going to bring a diagonal line up. And I'm bringing it up until it reaches about 1 finger length away from the edge of the paper. What I do on one side, I'm going to do to the other. So I'm going to do a diagonal line all the way up. I'm going to stop when it's about 1 finger away from the side. I'm not going all the way off, am I? No. I'm stopping about 1 finger length away from the edge of my paper. So go ahead, it's your turn. Try to make them as even as you can. It's kind of hard for me because I'm looking at 2 different places, but I'm going to adjust this, and that should look a little bit better. There we go. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so you get the whole picture, the whole idea. So lava lamps came from an egg timer, which a scientist invented, and his landlord had one, and Walker was like, what is that weird lamp? And it consisted of oil and water. And oil and water do not mix. And the heat would cause the oil to move up and down in this egg timer. And that's how he got the idea for a lava lamp. Okay, we're going to start here and end here. Let's go ahead. I like to start from the top because when you start from the top, you can make a straighter line. And you're going to have those connect. I'm going to make that a little darker so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a bit. Now I have to do the same thing. I like to start from the top, sketch that out until they meet, just like that. Beautiful. Now we have the lava lamp shape. It's shaped for a reason. It's smaller at the top because when the oil or the wax moves up, it cools, and there's less volume. There's more volume down here. There's less volume, so it has nowhere to go. It has to move down. Okay, talking about the bottom of the lava lamp, we're going to go ahead and make a trapezoid. What are we going to make? A trapezoid. And to make a trapezoid, we're going to do 2 more diagonal lines and then a horizontal line. So I'm just going to have you watch me. Let's watch Miss C. I'm going to make a trapezoid. Now, can a trapezoid be an organic shape? No, because it has a name. I can name this shape trapezoid. Okay, your turn. Make your trapezoid. It's 2 diagonal lines and 1 horizontal line. And once you do that, we are completely done with our pencil. We don't need our pencil anymore. Oh, actually, we could draw a little top. We're going to draw the top. I lied. Sorry. We're going to add a little line at the top. It's about 1 finger, 1 to 2 fingers at the top. It's the cap. Because, interestingly enough, the glass part of the lava lamp looks eerily similar to a soda can or a soda bottle. It has a little cap, and they put this over it so you don't see the cap. Alright, put your pencil away, we don't need them. And we're going to go ahead and get our oil pastels, and we're going to find our black oil pastel. Now for the younger students, you're just going to have to bear with me, but if you want, maybe you can color in the top and the bottom, a fun color. So let's go ahead and find the black, and we're going to go ahead and outline our lava lamp. Pretty simple, right? And we're going to go ahead and put our black oil aside, and I'm going to talk about complementary colors. So I'm going to find complementary colors. Green and red are complementary colors. Now you can use either green. I would encourage you to use both green, so you got red and green. Alright, that's one color combination you can use. You could also use orange and blue, and I would encourage you to use multiple blues. So that's another color combination. Yellow and purple, we don't really have yellow, we don't really have purple, but pink could do the job, okay? I think I'm going to stick with the orange and blue because my paper is blue and it might look nice. Or I could do this and switch it up. My last one I did do orange and blue, so maybe I will do green. I'll do green and red. Just because I'm doing green and red doesn't mean you can't do this color combo, okay? So I'm going to suggest not using the yellows and pinks. I'm going to suggest using either green and red or orange and blue. So those are your options. You make the decision now. Alright, now you have to decide, do I want the lava to be the green or do I want the lava to be the red? And I think I'm going to make my lava green. Now, do you have to make your lava green? No, you can make it red or orange or blue. So I'm going to use the dark green, and we are going to create our lava. So I'm going to zoom in. So these are an option, and this is the option that I'm using. Okay, let's put that there so you can see it. Let's go ahead and look at the inside of our lava lamp, and we're going to start at the bottom. Remember that dripping sort of motion we're doing? And then I'm going to go up and do the sort of like the snake shape that Walker took 12 years to master doing his chemistry. So I'm going to stop right here, and it's your turn. So I'm using a dark green. You can use red, you can use blue, or you can use orange. Up to you what complementary colors you want to use. Now, am I bringing those all the way up? Nope, I'm leaving some space. Alright, we're making a really large organic shape. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. You don't have to make your organic shapes exactly like mine. That's not the goal here, because lava lamps are always constantly changing, right? Because the temperature is changing. So that is what's hypnotic about lava lamps, is that they're always changing. They always look a little different. Okay, I'm going to come towards the top, and I'm going to start right about here. And I'm going to do kind of mimicking what I did at the bottom with that wiggly line to create the drip. I'm just going to go like this, something like that. If yours isn't coming out exactly like mine, that's okay. You could always do something kind of like this. So I am going to add just a little stick-figure guy for fun. I've had students do little cat faces. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do that. And it's pretty easy. I'm just going to pick a space where I have room. I have room on this side and that side. And I'm just going to put my little stick figure here. I'm going to start by drawing a small head. It's pretty small. It's about the size of my pinky. I'm going to do a little stick figure body. Little stick figure feet. And I'm going to have the stick figure's hands going up in the air because he's floating. He's floating in this silly looking lamp. Now, we're not finished. That is not what I want. What I want is to outline him and make him into a more of an organic shape. So all I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to have everyone watch me. So everyone's watching me in 3. Your eyes are on the screen in 2 and 1. Watching Miss C. I'm going to go ahead and outline my stick figure. And now I have a little wax blob that looks similar to a person. Because if you've ever stared, I'm using a light green. If you've ever stared into a lava lamp or even a ceiling that has texture, our brain loves to fill in the gaps. And sometimes you'll see things in these organic shapes. You'll be like, wow, that looks a lot like a flower, or wow, that looks like a lot like a dog, something like that. So that's just a fun little thing you can add. You don't have to do that, but you can. And then I'm going to add another little organic shape right here. So go ahead, pick up your oil pastel, add a few more organic shapes in your outline. Now, I'm using green. I'm using dark green and light green. If you're using orange, you can go ahead and use orange and red and color in the orange and red. And I'll show you an example. If you can see, I put yellow in the center, red on the sides, and orange all around. And that's going to create a more in-depth sort of looking lava. It's just more interesting than a plain orange. Mix some other colors in your orange, okay? So if you're using orange or red, use all the warm tones. Use yellow, use orange, and use red. Okay. I'm using green, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my dark green, my light green, and I'm also going to throw in a little bit of yellow. So this would be the same if you were using warm tones. I'm using a cooler tone, but I'm going to use a little bit of yellow in the center of my organic shapes because I'm going to create a little bit of depth, make them look a little more 3D. It's more interesting to the human eye to have layers of color than just one solid color. It's more interesting to have multiple colors than just one color laid on your paper. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Then I'm going to go to the next lightest color, which is the light green. I'm going to kind of color that in. Oh, a little fly. Go away, fly. There we go. And I'm coloring this in, so I got light green and yellow, and I'm blending it with the dark green. Just like that. Blending is key here. Don't be afraid to mix in the dark green with the light green, or if you're using orange and red, it's okay to blend those. So here's the 2 examples. So on my left I have orange, yellow, and red all mixed together. And over here I have yellow, light green, and dark green. I'm going to take a little bit of the dark green and kind of fill in wherever there might be a little bit of a shadow. So I'm just kind of going around making these nice, really sharp lines, making those organic shapes pop. I'm just going back over with the dark green, creating a little more depth. Alright. I'm going to move on to my complementary color. Now, if you did orange, your complementary would be blue. I did green, so my complementary would be red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in all this negative space with red. So I like to outline where I'm starting. So I'm going to outline, get that red right next to the green so there's no blue of the paper peeking through. I like to outline this whole thing first. I'm going to outline my little guy. So, like I said, lava lamps were not popular. Walker was in World War II, and after World War II, so in the late 40s, early 50s, he started making his lava lamps. And it took him a long time to perfect it, but they weren't popular. Art Deco fashion didn't really like how futuristic. They didn't really move into Art Deco, which is like more futuristic decor for your house yet, so people were kind of like, I don't really understand this lamp. And in fact, the early prototypes are called astrolamps, which even makes them sound even more futuristic, especially because America, we started sending rockets and spaceships, and then they became popular in the 60s because space became cool. Anything with the word astro kind of intrigued people's imaginations. So lava lamps became popular in the 60s, part of the pop culture. Just like we were talking with Andy Warhol, new things were happening in the 60s. We're kind of focusing on the 60s these past few lessons. But yeah, lava lamps were popular. No one knew what they were. That's why people would use them in special effects for movies, because they just looked so cool on camera. Then they became a popular novelty. Novelty means like not taking it too seriously, which kind of makes me sad because I think people should take lava lamps pretty seriously. They involve art and science. I do believe lava lamps are a type of art form because it's pleasing to the eye. We like to stare at them. In fact, people stare at them for hours. So I believe that lava lamps are a type of art. They're not just a novelty. These lamps are simply pleasing to stare at. Just like a beautiful painting, classical painting is pleasing to stare at. You could stare at a painting with really a lot of detail just as long as you could stare at a lava lamp. And that's why I consider lava lamps a cool combination between science and art. Okay. If you're all done coloring in your lava lamp, you have the lava and you have the water base, which my base is red, your base might be blue. And we're going to go ahead and do a little fun Zentangle at the top and bottom. We're going to do a horizon line so we know that our lamp is sitting on something. So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and you can use your black, you could use green, do green polka dots, you could do checkers, you could do any type of repeating pattern. I'm going to do checkers, so I'm going to find my black oil pastel. You don't have to do checkers. Just because I'm doing checkers, you can do lines, polka dots, smiley faces, anything you want. I'm going to go ahead and do checkers. I think that would look really cool. So I'm going to do that on the top and bottom. I'm going to come to the top and also make a grid. Remember, when you're making checkers, you're making a grid. And Checkers always touch corners, so I can't put a black square here or here, but if it's touching the corner, I can go ahead and color that in. We only have the colors touch corners, and that's what I do to remember the pattern, because it's pretty easy to make a mistake when you're doing a checkered pattern. But the colors only touch corners, so they never touch sides, tops, or bottoms, just corners. I'm going to go ahead and put a little grid right here. There we go. There, finally. There we are. We're straight now. There we go. And I'm going to find my trapezoid, which is that shape at the bottom. And I'm going to put the horizon line towards the center of it. So not here at the crease, but kind of down, just like one finger down. And I'm going to put a horizon line. And then you can decide, do you want to color the wall? Or do you want to color the floor? In this example, I colored the floor. And I think in this example, I'm going to color the floor again. But if you want to do something on the wall, feel free. That's fine. And I'm going to do pink. I'm going to use pink. It's important to add a horizon line to your lava lamp so that you know that your lava lamp is not just floating in space. It is grounded. It is up in a place. It is somewhere. Where? On a pink table. Okay. I could even color in my checkers if I wanted two different colors. It's up to you. The best thing with these lava lamps is just doing a lot of them. Sometimes you gotta have to let go of control and just kind of make the organic shapes. And I think that makes the best lava lamps, is not having a preconceived notion of what your lava lamp's going to look like. You just got to let it happen. I think I already mentioned this, but his first prototype, like the original lava lamp, is still produced in England, so the factory is still in England. You can go visit it and buy yourself a lava lamp, which I think is pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and move my camera so I can see you guys, just in case anyone is finished, so you guys can show off your lava lamps. I will keep this up for an example so you guys can look at it. So we learned about complementary colors.